Hello, everyone. Under the circumstances, I think we had a wonderful meeting. Great content and fabulous turnout. We had a record 800 people registered for this meeting. I regret that the business meeting can't be in person, but still feel it's important to update you all on our society's activities this past year. Sheila McGinnis led the very busy education and career development section, which includes the committees that you can see here on this slide. For maintenance of certification, the recorded session will be available as part of a virtual annual meeting for members, so you can earn mock credits. The standardized fellowship program requirements completed and submitted to ACGME, and a target date for final approval of transition is July of 2021. The group participated in the COVID-19 response task force. The Junior Faculty and Fellows Committee launched a virtual journal club and had over 170 attendees at the first session. And as you all know, our meetings have pivoted from live to virtual. We had about 492 at the pre-AAD and a record over 800 at this meeting. The Education Committee created 5 new patient perspective handouts, which included contact dermatitis, keratosis pilaris, pigmentary mosaicism, scars, and COVID-19. And the Mentorship Committee expanded their awards program to include more virtual opportunities. Heather Brantley-Bennett head up the Workforce and Specialty Advocacy group, which has the committees that you can see here on this slide. The Workforce published an editorial on the value of pediatric dermatology. External Nominations submitted an application to join the AMA's Specialty Service Society. And this is going to give us a voice at the AMA. The International Outreach and Global Alliances Committee developed and awarded the first international trainee travel grant for the SPD annual meeting and received 12 applications. And there have been some changes in terms of nominations and leadership development. That committee established formal guidelines for SPD committees, including a maximum number of volunteers, terms of service, and even dismissal for inactivity. To help ensure a steady pipeline of future pediatric dermatologists, a career brochure was mailed to 547 first-year dermatology residents and 156 residency program directors. That included information about what we as pediatric dermatologists do, what disorders we treat and diagnose, what is our training like, what's the compensation and intrinsic lifestyle benefits, and what are the available career opportunities. And the plan is to send this out to the first years every single summer. Pat Treadwell heads up our marketing and communications section, and you can see her committees here on this slide. Journal submissions are on the rise, and there were several COVID-19 specific articles that were submitted in fast track for publication, which included a commentary and guidelines for the management of skin disorders in children in the era of COVID-19. They implemented a plan to partner with Pedra and Wiley to fast track Pedra studies into publication, and are exploring a special edition of the journal with a focus on diversity and skin of color. Currently, they're negotiating a new 3-year contract with Wiley, the journal's publisher. The Rosen Group has been an incredible asset for the SPD. As you can see, the SPD's visibility has increased dramatically, both in print, with many articles written for the lay press by our members, as well as a much increased social media presence. These are some of the media outlets the SPD has been featured in. And more examples of SPD's presence in the news, including the New York Times, Fox, NBC, San Francisco Chronicle, and Politico. Finance and administration has been led by the very capable Rob Sidbury, and you can see his committees listed here on this slide. If we look at 2019 overall, we had a profit where we had actually budgeted a modest loss. And this was due to better than expected gains in the stock market and record attendance at the 2019 annual meeting in Austin. We had budgeted a very modest profit for 2020, but unfortunately the pandemic has really turned everything upside down. We experienced a substantial loss of revenue from our educational meetings and from investment losses from stock market fluctuations. I have 3 comments about this. First, if we look at the span of 2019-2020, we still project to break even for our fiscal year. Losses in 2020 are largely offset by gains in 2019. Second, our market investments are long-term and we fully expect to recover from the losses this year. And third, we have significant reserves and our overall financial health is very strong. I'd like to thank our sponsors. We really couldn't do the things that we do without sponsorship. So I'd like to call out our platinum sponsors, Amgen, Cassiopeia, Pfizer, Sanofi, and Regeneron. This is a really exciting time for new therapeutic developments in pediatric dermatology. They're going to have a very significant positive impact on our patients. At the gold level, I'd like to acknowledge Dermavant, Novartis, and Verica. And at the silver level, Chemistry RX, Galderma, Noble Pharma, Pierre Fabre, and Summers Lab. When you all get the chance, please thank our sponsors personally for their ongoing support of the SPD. LaTanya Benjamin heads up the membership and practice management section, and you can see her committees here on this slide. We're currently, well, first there's a new membership category, the Advanced Practice Provider membership or APP membership. That was added with a bylaw change that was approved by our membership. So this allows physician assistants and nurse practitioners to have their own membership category. We're working to actively update our compensation and productivity survey, and we've received 3 bids. And in the next week, we'll be choosing a partner to produce this updated report. The Career Development Award has been fully transitioned to PEDRA, and relevant patient issues presented at the AADA Legislative Conference and patient advocacy groups have been congruent with the subject of meeting lectures, and they'll be represented at our summer meetings moving forward. And last, the teledermatology survey has been finalized. Dawn Siegel is the co-chair of PEDRA and the VP of Research for the SPD. PEDRA has been an incredibly robust and active part of the SPD and is our research arm. We have many young, energetic, talented folks pushing the leading edge of discovery in our field, and you can see the committee chairs for the various active PEDRA committees here on this slide. Just to mention a few of PEDRA's accomplishments this year, they've strengthened ties to the patient community with help from a Capacity Building Engagement Award from the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute. They've established themselves as a 501c3 nonprofit. The big study on psychosocial burden of pediatric skin disease has surpassed 100 patients who have been enrolled or consented, and PEDRA has provided more than $200,000 in research funding, including 5 $20,000 research fellowships through a new program in 2020. Before I close, I'd like to recognize our outgoing leaders who have worked hard to make the SPD an incredible organization. LaTanya Benjamin, Anita Hagstrom, Amy Knopper, Karen Wiss, Barry Cunningham, Joe Lamb, Lisa Shen, Jennifer Hand, and Kristen Hook. We thank you for your service and hope to see you back in leadership roles in the future. Well, my term has come to an end, and my worry stick, which you can see here, has unfortunately gotten a lot more use than I had hoped for. The pandemic has prevented us from gathering in person, and for me, this was always a highlight and one that I've sorely missed this year. Nevertheless, I have the pleasure to virtually pass the worry stick and the reins of the SPD presidency onto the most capable hands of Marilyn Liang. You will do a fabulous job. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm incredibly honored to represent the SPD and will definitely need the worry stick. Jeff, you've done an incredible job in this unprecedented year. It has been an honor to work with you. Thank you for your years of service, and I'm happy to have another year together. We look forward to moving towards ACGME accreditation, attracting medical students to pediatric dermatology, increasing pediatric dermatology and SPD exposure in the media, and moving towards getting a seat at the AMA. Most importantly, we can't wait to see you in real life this year, my favorite part of the SPD. Thank you.